Yo. So I thought about doing something a little bit different this morning, and recently I've been thinking about what characters they could add to Rebirth of Souls for the DLC. So what I have done is I found a tier list and I remixed it, and I put all the characters who are already in the game down here, and I have four tiers of characters that I'm going to go through. And there is yes, please, meaning I really want them in the game. Maybe eventually they might be added to the game someday. Probably not. They're probably never going to be in the game and never going to happen. There is no chance of them ever being added to the game. So we're going to go through this and rank how likely it is these characters are going to be added. So first up is Hikafune. I think it's possible that she might be added eventually. I think it's pretty likely that there's a possibility of all five of the Royal Guards being playable characters in the game eventually. The problem is that I don't think that Hikafune is very high on the list. I think unfortunately characters like her and Kirinji are on the lower tiers of like characters who are going to be added to the game, whereas characters with like more fleshed out combat like Ichibei, Oyatsu, and Senjumaru are probably higher priorities. So I think she might be added eventually, but probably not anytime soon. Yushiro, unfortunately, probably not. He's such an obscure character. He doesn't really have a lot of focus in the story. The only major focus he ever gets is his fight with Askin, and even then, he doesn't really get a lot of like, you know, I think it's possible he might make a cameo if they ever add like story based stuff centered around the Blood War arc. But for now, probably not. Yumachika, I think that he might be added eventually. He is a fairly prominent character. The fact that Ikaku is already in the game does increase the probability of him being in the game eventually. Again, he I don't think is very high on the priority list, but it would be cool to see him added to the game. Kensei. Okay, so these two are two characters that I do really want to see added to the game. Is Kensei and Rose. I think Kensei's fighting style could be very fun. I think he could probably have something similar to characters like Chad, where he would be a very close combat like boxer, where he doesn't have a lot of range. Obviously, his second tier would be his Bankai, and same with Rose. I think Rose could be a very cool character as well. Has a lot of like illusion techniques that he could utilize. His Bankai would obviously be his awakening. Yumachika's awakening would be his true Shikai. Hikafune's, I think she would start out in the bigger form, and then her awakening would be the thinner form they're showing in this picture. If Yushiro ever gets added, his awakening, I think, would probably be his Shunko. But I think these two would be a lot of fun. I think there needs to be more representation for the Vizards in the game, and I think these two are high on the list because they get a lot of focus, especially Kensei. He gets like two major fights in the series. He has his fight with Wonderwise, even though it happens mostly off screen. And then he has his fight with Mask in the Blood War. So I think these two are higher on the list in terms of priorities. Sentimaru, probably not. He never fights. We have no idea what he's capable of, so I don't think he's probably not going to happen, unfortunately. Akon, eh, I mean, he has a little bit of focus in the story, but he doesn't really do anything in combat until the recent Hell chapter. So I don't think he's gonna be added to the game, unfortunately. Momo, yeah, maybe eventually. I think it would be cool to see maybe like if she does get added, I think it would be cool to see like a special move where she does something something along the lines of the attack she used against the Trace Bestias in the Fake Karakor Town arc. That would be very cool. I also think Momo deserves something after everything she went through. So I think it would be cool. And if she doesn't show up, then, I mean, I don't know. I think it would be cool if Bleach did like a cameo characters system where they could have like the more obscure characters like Sentomaru and Yushiro show up, but like they wouldn't make them playable. They could just have them show up as like support characters that you can call upon. Huntaro. Unfortunately, I don't think so. The problem with Hanataro is the fact that his Zanpakuto is so bad at combat. His Zanpakuto is entirely focused around healing, and it heals his enemies. So I guess they could add him as like a joke character, but I don't think he's going to be in the game anytime soon, unfortunately. He's already in the story mode as an NPC, but as a playable character, probably not. Unohana, yeah. There was a leak recently, like right after the game came out, that the first 4 characters they were adding to the game were Ichigo, like Blood War Ichigo with his true Shikai, Ichibei, so we'll put him up here as well, Unohana, and Yuhabak. So 4 of the most prominent characters from the Blood War arc. So all 3 of these are going to be up here because they're going to be in the game. Obviously, even if it wasn't confirmed, they're going to add Yuhabak. He's like he's one of the main antagonists in the series. They were going to add him eventually. And if they weren't, they were going to add him as like one of the first DLC characters. Ichibei, he's the most prominent member of the Royal Guard, so them adding him makes a ton of sense. Onohana, after her fight with Kenpachi, her being added makes a lot of sense. I think that in terms of awakenings, Ichibei, I think his base moveset is going to be him using his Shikai, and then his awakening is probably going to be his Bankai. Yuhabak, I think his awakening will probably be either him using the Almighty. No, I think it's going to be him activating the Almighty and getting the like multiple pupils. And then for Unohana, it's going to be her Bankai, which would be very cool. I'm excited to see how they make the environment look when she activates her Bankai. Ishin, maybe eventually. Here's the thing is that there are characters who are more popular that they could add to the game and flesh out their movesets. Because even if a character hasn't fought a lot, like Ishin, they could still be added to the game because we have Kaien in the game. Kaien, we have no idea what Kaien's fighting style was like. Every piece of experience we have for Kaien's fighting style is from seeing Eren use his powers during his fight with Rukia. So if they can make a fully fleshed out moveset for a character like Kaien, then they could make a fully fleshed out moveset for Ishin. That's no problem. Also, Ishin is Ichigo's father. He's a super popular character. I feel like they're going to add him to the game eventually, but I don't think he's going to be added as soon as these characters. Iba, probably not, unfortunately. He's another character like Sentomaru and Akon, where he barely gets any focus in the story. He's never had any major fights. And even when he's been involved in major fights, he hasn't done enough. So, unfortunately, I don't think he's going to be a character eventually. Hoshwolf, however, is absolutely going to be a character. I don't think they're going to add him right away. I think they're probably going to add Yuhabak first, and probably an alternate version of Oryu, like Sternritter Oryu. But I think Hoshwolf is definitely going to be added to the game sooner rather than later. He's one of the most popular characters in the final arc. He's basically like the secondary antagonist of that arc after Yuhabak. He gets a ton of focus, a ton of character development. He's going to get added to the game. That's a no-brainer. Nemu, Maybe. And the only reason I say that is because she actually does get some focus as during the fight with Pernita. If we didn't have that fight between her, Pernita, and Mayuri, then I don't think I would be putting her in the maybe. I think I would be putting her down here. But because of that fight, I think she might be added eventually. Omaida? Probably not. I mean, he does have a couple of major fights. The problem is that he's not popular. He gets his fight with the elephant guy during the Fake Karakura Town arc, and then he fights BG9 with Soifon. But the problem is that he's not popular. He has a very non-traditional design, so he's not as popular in the character polls. So I don't think he's going to be added to the game. And even if he is, I think it's going to be as like an NPC, and he's not going to be playable. So, now probably not. I don't think she's going to get added to the game. I mean, she has the fight with. She is fairly popular, and she has the fight between with Leal when she has the Shinken Hakioken, but I don't think she's going to be a fully fleshed out character. They could make her a playable character, but I don't think they will. Nanana, probably not. He's another character where he doesn't get a lot of focus. They might add him, but I don't think they will. Yachiru is technically already in the game. You can actually see her in the character select screen when you select Kenpachi. She is there on his shoulder. But do I think she's ever going to be her own standalone playable character? Probably not. She could be, because she does technically get her own fight, and they could flesh out her moveset, but I don't think they will. Yeah. She's another one, probably not. She doesn't get enough focus. Isane also doesn't get enough focus, so I don't think she's gonna be playable anytime soon. We don't even know what her Zanpakuto does. We know its name, and she's technically a captain in the Hell arc, but I don't think she's gonna be added anytime soon. Guanael, no. He's such a minor, obscure character that I don't think he's going to be added to the game. Definitely not as a playable character. And even if he does get added, then I think he'll be as a part of Gremmy's moveset. And speaking of which, I do think Gremmy is going to get added to the game eventually. Yes, Gremmy is a fairly minor character in the grand scheme of things. He only appears in one volume, but he has a huge fight with Kenpachi. His fight with Kenpachi is one of the most popular in the entire final arc. He has a fight against Kenpachi, who is one of the most popular supporting characters in the entire series. Gremmy's design is very good. I think he's one of the more popular members of the Sternritter, even though he doesn't get a lot of screen time. And his powers are very interesting. So if they do add him to the game, which I think they will eventually, it would be really cool to see what his moveset would be. And if they do add him, then I think they'll have Guanael as part of his moveset. Something similar to how Shinji has a special ability where he summons Hiyori to fight, like temporarily attack the opponent. I think Gremmy might have a special ability similar to that where he summons Guanael for like an attack against the opponent. Pepe? No. Here's the thing, is that Pepe gets a fairly significant amount of focus, but he's also an extremely unpopular character. People really don't like Pepe, so I don't think he's going to get added to the game. And even if he does, it's going to be as like a minor supporting NPC, and he's never going to be playable. Giselle? Maybe. Giselle is another one like Gremmy, where she doesn't appear a lot, but when she does, she gets a lot of focus, and I think she's like a fan favorite amongst the Sternritters, so I think it would be cool to see what her like zombie abilities would be like as part of the gameplay. So I think there's a high chance that she's going to get added eventually. Candace, maybe. I mean, she's hot, so she's probably going to be added because the hot girl characters get a lot of focus and popularity from the fan base for obvious reasons. Also, her powers are cool. She has lightning abilities, which could be very cool and very fun. Lil Toto is another one who'll probably get added eventually. Leal is definitely getting added. Leal is another one like Hoshwolf where he has a ton of focus in the final arc. He has a huge big like focus fight with Shunsui, so he's gonna be added to the game probably before any of the other Sternritter down here. They're probably gonna add Hoshwolf and the members of the Schutzstaffel first. And if they don't, then they'll add the other like prominent big Sternritter characters like Busby and maybe Gremmy, maybe Giselle, Asnod. Asnod is definitely going to be, yeah, where is he? Right here? Yeah. He's definitely going to be one of the first Sternritter to be added. Outside of Yuhabak and Hoshwolf, he's going to be one of the first Vandenreich members. Because Asnod is like a fan favorite from the final arc. So I'll be very surprised if he doesn't get playable eventually. Kirge? Maybe. Kirge's a maybe for me. He has a pretty big like fight right at the start of the arc with Ichigo, but I don't know if he has enough pull with the fans to be playable. The Tres Bestias is all three of them are a maybe because they get a fair amount of focus, so they might be playable eventually, but I'm not sure. Bombietta, I think that she is probably going to be added to the game. Here's the thing is that even though Bombietta gets like straight up ragdolled, like she gets the shit kicked out of her in the second half of the Blood War arc. The thing is though is that she's a fan favorite. She's another character from the Blood War arc that the fans really latched onto, even though she doesn't technically really do that much. A lot of people like her, so I think she might be one of the first ones who gets added alongside like Hoshwolf and Asnod. And as well as, where is he? There he is, yeah. Busby, yep. Outside of Yuhabak and probably Sternritter version of Oryu, these are going to be the first characters added from the Vandenreich as playable characters, in my opinion. Hoshwolf, Leal, and then Bambietta, Busby, and Asnod, because these are the fan favorite Sternritter characters. And then all of the lesser known fan favorite Sternritters are down here. Robert, probably not. Maybe, but I don't think so. Kangdu also probably not. His design is cool, but he gets jobbered so bad. He gets so punked on in that arc. Holy shit. I don't think they're going to add him as a character. And if they do, it's going to be way further down the line. Okay, so you see, this is what I was saying. Kirinji, maybe eventually. Senjumaru, I think there's a solid chance that Oyetsu and Senjumaru are going to be added as like very soon. Like these three are the highest priority of the Royal Guard because they're the ones that got the most focus in the story. Senjumaru originally had no focus, but the anime adaptation really upped her focus a lot, especially considering that she got a whole fight of her versus every member of the Royal Guard, and we got to see her Bankai. That's crazy. So I think there's definitely a high chance that she's going to get added to the game. And Oyatsu, again, he's another fan favorite. He's probably, I'd say, the second most popular member of the Royal Guard after Ichibei, so I think there's a high priority that he's going to get added to the game as well. In terms of awakenings, obviously, I think Hoshwolf, if they show his Vollständig in the anime, then that might be his awakening. If they don't, then I think it'll probably have something to do with him using the Almighty. Leo's is going to be his Volständig. Asnod's is going to be his Tartar Forest. Busby, his Volständig is kind of lame, but I think it will still be his awakening. Maybe they'll add some extra stuff to it, like him using his fire abilities. Bambietta's would be her Volständig. Senjimari's would be her Bankai. Oyatsu doesn't really have a Bankai, so I think his awakening might be him like using. I think he would start out using like hand-to-hand combat, and then his awakening would be Sayafushi. Nemu's, I don't know what her awakening would be, to be honest. Gremmy's would probably be him summoning his clone. That would be a cool awakening, because we don't know what his Volständig is, and I don't think we ever will. Ishin, we could see his Bankai. If they want to add that to the game, that would be very cool. Giselle's would be her Volständig. Yeah, all of these characters would be them activating their Volständigs. These three, the Tres Bestias, that would be them doing their resurrections. Kurinji would probably be him activating his Kinpika. He would start out using just the ore. I don't know about any of these characters. It would probably be Shikai, the Shinken Hakioken. We don't know enough about Nanna's Volständig. If Yachiro was added, it would probably be her Zanpakuto Sampo Kenju. Pepe would be his Volständig. All three of these, if they're added, it would be their Volständigs, but we don't know what Kangdu's is, so his would probably be something else. Askin, definitely. Again, Askin's another fan favorite. He's another super popular member of the Sternritter. He gets a lot of focus in the last battle, so I think he's definitely going to get added to the game eventually, and I think his awakening would definitely be his Volständig, Hassheim. Mask, maybe. I think he's a lower priority Sternritter. The only reason I think he might be added sooner is because he has that huge fight with Renji. His awakening would probably be his Volständig with the wings and when he turns into the pro wrestler. I think he's a lower priority character, to be completely honest. BG9 is also a lower priority character. And Meninas, Nyanzol, no, there's no way. Even if he's such a minor character, he barely gets any focus. I don't think he's going to get added to the game. Ganju, probably not. He might get added, but if he did, it would be like as a joke character, to be completely honest. Pernita, maybe. Pernita does get a lot of focus in the final arc. The problem is that Pernita's, it would be so weird. And I mean, but it would be really interesting to see what kind of moveset Pernita would have. Because, their awakening, I would imagine that their initial moveset would be something like with the hood on, and then their awakening would have the hand opening. But how would they do that? I mean, Pernita would have to be like a giant, they would have to make the character like bigger. So Pernita would have a huge hitbox. I mean, they've done that already, though, with Komamura and Renji's Bankais, but they're so clunky and so hard to use. I think they might add Pernita, but I'm pretty sure Pernita would just be like a boss character. And they would just add like an episode. If they add story modes for the Blood War, which I'm pretty sure they will, there would be an episode where it's Mayuri fighting Pernita, and Pernita would be a boss character exclusively just in that episode. Gerard, yeah, I think Gerard probably will be added to the game eventually. I think honestly I would actually put him up here. I think he's one of the higher priority characters. Okay, so this is why this is why I have the never gonna happen tier on this list, because there's a bunch of filler characters who are never gonna get added to the game. I've never seen any of these people before in my entire life. This guy, joke character, probably not gonna get added. Lisa, maybe eventually. White Ichigo, they might add him. They might. I put him up at maybe. No. Lupe, actually, they might add Lupe because he's already an NPC boss character in the story mode. So they could add him. They could. He already has a fully fleshed out move set. So, Wonderwise, maybe. Dortoni, maybe. Araniro technically is already in the game, even though it's just Cayenne with Araniro's costume. So probably not. Chiruchi, maybe. Pesce, no. He would be a joke character. And besides, he already shows up in Nell's moveset. Nell has a move where she summons Pesce and Dondochaka to do the Cero Syncretio. So technically, he's already in the game. Gotzenbane, another maybe. Tesla, probably not. Lilanet is already in the game. She shows up just like Yachiru, actually. She shows up in the character select with Stark. Where is he? There he is, yeah. And they fuse right at the start of every battle. So she's technically already in the game. She's not going to be her own character, though. These two that bully Orihime, no. Filler Captain, no. None of these characters are going to get added. Masaki? Masaki? Maybe, actually. Maybe. Here's the thing. I can see a reality where she gets added to the game, but it's the younger version of her from the Blood War flashback. I can see that happening. That would be very interesting. And I can already see like her awakening would be her using the shorter bow, and then her special would be the shot of her from the manga where she's aiming at the hollow to save Ishin. I think there's actually a pretty high probability of her getting added as a playable character, but it would be the younger one from the flashback. Who are any of these people? Dondochaka, probably not. Again, he's in Nell's moveset already, so. Zomari? Maybe eventually. Since he's one of the Espada, I can see them wanting to have all the Espada in the game. Chojuro, probably not. Even though he does get a little focus in the Blood War arc, it's after he's already dead. So, Tessay, no. Charlotte? Maybe. Just because Charlotte is one of the more popular characters. I mean, they're like one of the fan favorites just because they're so fun. And their fight with Yumachika is one of the best in the fake hardcore town, in my opinion. Findor, no. Jidanbo technically is already in the game, but I don't think he's going to be playable ever. I think he's just going to be a boss character. Baragon, I think Baragon should already be in the game. I think it's genuinely shocking that they didn't already add him. So I think there's a high possibility he's going to get added sooner rather than later. Gigio, probably not. No. These, I don't even remember. Aren't these both from... Yeah, these are some of the minor girls from Karakura Town. That's never going to happen. Old Man Zangetsu? Probably not. I mean, technically, again, he's already in the game. Kukaku? No, I don't think so. Again, she's technically already in the game. Chat's grandpa? No, sorry, boss. I mean, he's a great character, but I don't think so. Rudborn? No, probably not. Yami? Yami's another character where I'm surprised he's not already playable. I think him and Baragon are probably the highest priority Espada characters to be added to the game. In terms of like Arankars who are not playable already, these two are the two that I think are the most likely to get added. Because even though Yami is kind of a dumb jobber character, he's also like super he's super prominent throughout the entire Arrancar saga. He gets a bunch of focus. He gets like a multiple different major big scale fights against huge like popular characters. So I'm honestly shocked he's not already playable as like a grappler character. Hachi? Okay. Here's the thing. Do I think Hachi is going to be a playable character in the game? Probably not, but I would really, really like for him to be. The thing is that Hachi, I don't think Tessai is going to be playable, but I do think Hachi will be. And here's why. He gets one of the best fights in the Fate Karakura Town arc against Baragon. He basically takes over the fight from Soifan against Baragon, and he delivers the final blow against one of the strongest Espada. He's like, honestly, outside of Shinji, is probably my favorite member of the Vizards. And his focus getting to fight one of the biggest members of the Espada, it came out of nowhere. And I loved it. And I would really love to see him as a playable character in the game. I would love to see Hachi be playable. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not, but God, I would love to see it. I would love to see a character who is entirely focused on using Kido as their moveset. Because there's so many moves in the game, even from major characters like Rukia and Byakuya, where they use Kido as special moves instead of just focusing on the Zanpakuto, and I love that. I love the fact that they give Kido so much respect in Rebirth of Souls by giving so many different characters major Kido moves as special moves. So if they added a character who's entirely focused on Kido, that would be so cool. And of course his awakening would be his hollow mask, obviously. So that's my rant. I would love to see Hachi be playable. Is it going to happen? Probably not. Love? Maybe. He does have a big fight with Stark. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm going to go from praising Hachi to hating on Mashiro. I do not like Mashiro. She's probably one of my least favorite characters in the entire story. And I think they might add her eventually, but I don't want them to. I do not like Mashiro at all. I think the reason is because I love Hisagi, and the fact that she constantly clowns on him and disrespects him, it pisses me off so much. I hate the fact that like she constantly belittles him and talks like, "Oh, I'm the number one. I'm the actual lieutenant of the 9th Division." No, you're not. It's Hisagi. And it's like, "Oh, I'm the super lieutenant." Like, shut the fuck up, okay? Nobody likes you. I hate the Hisagi slander, and she's the one who heads most of it. So no thank you. And if they do add her, I'm going to use her as a training dummy for practice, and just, I do not like her at all. And I really hope they don't add her as a playable character. Hiyori is technically already in the game. She's one of Shinji's moves, so I don't think she's going to be her own character. Ginjo. Yes, Ginjo. He's the highest, I think, out of all the Fullbringers. Ginjo, where is he? Where is Tsukishima? There he is, yeah. Ginjo and Tsukishima are the two most likely candidates to get added as playable characters for the Fullbringers. Probably Ginjo, since he's a little bit more popular than Tsukishima. I think Ginjo, yeah. If they do add somebody from the Fullbringers, it's probably going to be Ginjo. Jackie, probably not, unfortunately. Ryuken? Maybe eventually. That could be cool. Excuse me. Khan? No. Yami's dog? No. Let's be real here. None of these characters. No. Yeah. Not you, not you, not you. Byakuya's grandpa? No. Yeah, none of these characters are ever going to be playable. All these Zanpakuto spirits, not gonna happen. Chad's grandpa, I'm sorry, bud. I do love him, but I don't think so. He does show up in the game in Chad's flashback, but as a playable character, no. No, none of the Zanpakuto spirits are gonna be playable. No. Cutscene, I do love their design, but no. Yami's dog. It would be cool if Yami's dog did show up in the story. That would be funny. Kon, no. As a joke character, maybe, but I don't think so. No. Ichigo's friends, whose names I can't even remember, other than Tatsuki. I remember Tatsuki. No, that lady that he talks to, that guy, that girl, his sisters, no. Okay. Why the hell is Orihime not playable already? I have to talk about this. Why is Orihime not already a playable character? What is the deal? Why isn't she playable already? I know for a fact that it is possible to make Orihime a viable playable character in a game like this because it's been done before. She has been playable in every other Bleach fighting game. So why is she not already in the cast? I'm putting this here not because I think it will happen. I'm putting this here because it should have already happened. I think it's ridiculous that there are characters like fucking Cayenne and goddamn, I don't know. The fact that they made Cayenne playable instead of Orihime is honestly kind of insulting. Mo, no. This guy, no. Her, maybe just because she's, a hot girl, so they might want to add her. Yukio also maybe because he's a cute boy. Ukitake, okay. Please add Ukitake to the game. Please, my man deserves the respect. Please. I would love to see what his moveset would be like, what his awakening might be, maybe something to do with Mimahagi. That would be so cool. Please add Ukitake to the game. Kanaji, no. Even if they do add him, he would be a joke character. Come on now. Probably not. Yeah. And who are any of these people? All these fucking filler characters? Is that everybody? I don't think any of these other characters actually matter. Or ever are they going to get added to the game? Probably not. No. Is that Hell Rukia from the movie? No. Rukia's sister? Nope. I don't even know any of these people. Okay. This one, however. Maybe. For Tensa Zangetsu specifically, I think they might add him to the game. There's a pretty high probability that they might add him to the game. Just like, I don't know if they would add Old Man Zangetsu, but the Hollow Ichigo and Tensa Zangetsu, probably. They might add them to the game eventually. So, for the highest priority characters up here, these are who I think are going to get added to the game in the next few months. If they add somebody from down here, I will be very surprised. Pleasantly surprised, but surprised. As for the rest down here, it's probably never going to happen. If it does, I will be very shocked. Pleasantly shocked in some cases for the characters over here. But if they ever add anyone down here, I will be very surprised. We also have to take into account the fact that they might add alternates for the existing characters. Bankai version of Urahara, probably going to happen. Obviously, they're already going to add a Blood War version of Ichigo. So, Royal Palace Byakuya is probably one. Bankai Rukia, True Bankai Renji. Um, what else? Oh, Human Form Komamura. That's probably going to happen. Bankai Yamamoto. Yeah, Bankai Kyoraku, Bankai Kenpachi. Like I said at the start, they're probably going to add a Stern Ritter Oryu, and they're probably going to add an adult form Hitsugaya, where he uses his true Bankai from the fight with Gerard. So these are the characters that I think are going to be added sooner. I think outside of these three, Unohana, Ichibei, and Yuhabaku are definitely going to get added to the game very soon, along with Shikai Ichigo or Blood War Ichigo. I think the highest probability of characters who are going to get added afterwards are, I would say, Ginjo, Baragon, hopefully Orihime, please, Hoshwolf, and maybe Busby. I think in terms of the Sternritters outside of Yuhabak and like a Sternritter version of Oryu, the first two to be added from the Vandenreich will probably be either Hoshwolf and Busby or Hoshwolf and Asnod. And these two, I think, mostly because they're fan favorites. I would say out of all the Sternritters, Asnod and Busby are probably the most popular outside of Hoshwolf. So, and then maybe the members of the Schutzstaffel, Leol, Askin, and Gerard. But yeah. Well, yeah, that's all. See ya.